go to the library. I use the computer labs, specifically if it's like a Mac or PC kind of difference, and I can't do both.
I use the computer labs pretty often, and I use the library quite often because they have the music library, so you can like go in there and look up scores, or go in there and find pieces so that I don't have to purchase them. And sometimes I've used the writing lab. That was very helpful when I was in GSW. So.
Last year I was a freshman, so like last year I used the bookstore like a lot for like my books and like the supplies I needed throughout the year. And I used the library for some projects that I had to do, like for the, especially the music library on the third floor. And then this year it's pretty much the same thing. Like I haven't really reached out to anything else. But like I know like learning habits is a thing, like, but I just haven't really used it yet.
The biggest resource I use is the library. I like to use the Ohio Link with all my literature classes, so I can borrow books from many of the campuses in Ohio, as well as computer labs where I can print off the work that I've done.
I feel like my case is rather odd because I didn't know I needed like disability services until after I was here for a whole semester. And so I was getting behind in like everything that involved reading, and I had my GSW professor suggest that I go through disability services, and I did all like the test battery things and stuff, and I was eligible for like extended test taking and like text-to-speech programs for reading, so I could get like an audiobook version of all my textbooks. So because of that professor, I get all the help that I have now, and because she was such a big help, I always make sure to take my classes with her. And in the past semester, I actually had to drop GSW because I was so far behind with the writing. And so she told me that when I take it again, that I could just turn in papers I already did, so I could focus on working on the biggest paper from the get-go. So I am really grateful for having such a like professor that's so helpful and willing to like jump like over bounds and stuff to help me. So that was really cool. Yeah.
I think for me, my professors, I met with them and let them know sometimes I might be late to class because of my disability. I mean, I'm not perfect, so there's going to be times where I like miss my timing, and it might take me a little bit longer to get to class. And so the first thing I always do with my professors, I introduce myself and acknowledge to them what I have, so that way if I am late to class, it's not the point of, oh yeah, he just doesn't care about my class, like that guy doesn't care at all. It's because I have to, sometimes it may take me a little bit longer to get to that class. Or I might leave class late because I'm making sure I get everything together and like I'm able to go, because sometimes I might need a little bit more longer time to rest and be able to get up and go to class or leave the classroom. So just making sure I have that communication with my professors and letting them know what I have, and allow them, make sure they let me know that I need that extensive time for that kind of stuff.
I think utilizing the office hours is really nice because, for one, I mean, sometimes I don't like speaking to my teachers in class, like when everyone's around and everyone's trying to get through class because classes aren't always long enough for things. And so I think too, having to go into office hours and just, I feel comfortable talking. It's more like a one-on-one conversation, and you don't have other people that are trying to ask questions and things like that. So I like having office hours and utilizing those.
I think it's important just to be upfront with your professors. What I always do is I always print off my disability plan, that disability services, and I have set out, and I print that off for each professor, and I take that with me the first day of class, and I hand it to them, and I say, hi, I'm Rachel, here's my deal, here's my disability plan, this is all the accommodations I am allowed to have. If you have any questions, we can talk about it, you can email me, whatever. And I explain to them a little bit about my disability, what they can expect, not to, no special treatment, but within those accommodations. And I really haven't had a problem except for one instance, which I'm still working on right now. But yeah, it's been working out pretty well.
Anybody have any last things to add about that question? It's pretty much the same. Just talking to them, let them know up front, and I'll let them know like my work ethic and who I am. So like if they are pulling any strings, it's because like that's the best way I'm gonna learn it or whatever, and it's not, I'm not being.
Yeah.
So.
I've learned to, just be honest about it up front.
Yeah.
Because eventually they're going to find out, or they're not going to find out, but they're going to be curious of why you're taking a little bit longer to learn this material, or why is it taking me a little bit longer to attend this class. So it's going to eventually come up. It's like the elephant in the room. It's going to be known, but we are not going to talk about it. So it's better to just, be upfront and, talk about it.
Usually what I like to do, like before the semester starts, if I know my professor, I'll email them because I usually ask about the book list so I can like try and find it cheaper than the bookstore. So I'll like introduce myself and tell them like, this is what I do, this is what I'm interested in, this is why I'm taking your class. Or next semester I'm gonna take classes outside my department, so I actually have to go to the other department and ask them about all their classes to make sure that they're intro level ready, that I don't need to have some kind of foreknowledge in another field I'm not used to. So doing that too, like investigating and asking about classes, and because it lets them know that you're interested. Like you didn't just take this class because it fell out of the sky or fit with your schedule, you heard it was easy.